Hi, fourth graders. Today we're continuing our measuring unit and we're going to look at measuring time today. Yes, we do measure time. We look at how long something takes place. How long was the football game? How long was the movie? How long did you spend at your grandma's house? So we're talking about time and we call it elapsed time. So today you will use your knowledge of different units of time to determine elapsed time. Two questions to think about today. What strategies can I use to determine elapsed start and end times? So think about that. What kind of math strategies can we use today to help us figure out how much time has elapsed from the beginning to the end of something? Your second question to think about, how will I determine if my answer is correct? So keep those in mind as we begin to work. The first thing we need to do is figure out what is elapsed time. In this lesson today, we're going to solve problems with elapsed time. So what is elapsed time? So I was thinking about this cute meme, how much longer? And I think about my kids sitting in the back seat of a car yelling, are we there yet? So that's what we're talking about, elapsed time. How much time has passed since you started your trip till you finally get to where you're going? So what is elapsed time? It's the amount of time that passes from the beginning of an event until the end of the event. And that's what you're going to figure out today. You're going to figure out how long did the movie last? How long did practice last? How long is what we're asking. So how much longer? Let's try some. So we're going to start with probably the easiest problem we have right here. It says Mark arrived at the concert at 7:35 Saturday evening. It started at 5:15. How late was Mark? Mark didn't make it in time. Maybe he got stuck in traffic. Maybe they stopped for dinner and it took too long. But poor Mark didn't get to the concert until 7:35 Saturday evening. And the concert actually started at 5:15. So how late was Mark? So we're going to use a timeline. That's usually the best strategy for fourth graders to use to figure out how much time has elapsed from the start of an event to the end of an event. Now, do we have the start of the event? We do. We have the start time for his event. We see right here that the concert started at 5:15 p.m. It ended, well, he arrived at the concert at 7:35. So how late was he? From the beginning of his event, so we're going to use a timeline. From the beginning of his event to the end of his event. I'll make it shorter so you can see it on the screen. All right, so how much longer? Let's see. Started at 5:15. He got there at 7:35. So you see, this is what time the concert started. Mark arrived at 7:35. How much time is it between the beginning and the end? And that's what elapsed time is. So typically you start with the largest amounts of times. That's why you have to know your units of time. Now we're talking hours. We're talking within a day. So we're talking hours, minutes, and seconds. Now, we're not going to worry about seconds. We're going to start with our biggest amount of time in a day, which would be an hour. If I add an hour to 5:15, remember doing this when you were learning how to add on or take away? I'm going to add on move this out of the way, 1 hour. What time is it now? 1 hour added on to 5:15. It's 6:15. Can I add on another hour before 7:35? You mean he's going to be 2 hours late? If I add on another hour, it is now what time? An hour after 6:15, it is now 7:15. We're trying to get to 7:35. So now, am I adding on another hour? 7:15, another hour would be 8:15. It's too much. Now we're at minutes. We're going to go to our next unit of time. We're going to look at minutes. How many minutes is it from 7:15 to 7:35? How many of you are counting on your fingers right now? 7:15, 7:20, 7:25, 7:30, 7:35. How many of you did that? Okay. How many of you added 15 minutes onto 7:15? Because you knew that would give you 7:30. Now I just need to add 5 more minutes. Where's my elapsed time at? How much time has passed from 5:15 all the way over to 7:35? Here is my answer right here. 1 hour, 2 hours. So far I have 2 hours. And how many minutes? 15 minutes and 5 minutes is 2 hours, 20 minutes. You just figured out elapsed time. That's how we do that. So let's try another one. How about this one? Samantha ate breakfast at 6:45 a.m. Then she went to school. She had lunch at the time shown on the clock. How much time passed between breakfast and lunch? Well, hopefully you can read a clock. So you're looking at that. She ate at 6:45 a.m. So let me zoom this out a little bit more. 6:45 a.m. is our start time. Is when she ate breakfast. How long is it until her lunch time, which would be what? What time is that? 1 o'clock. How much time has elapsed from 6:45 breakfast all the way till she finally eats lunch at 1 o'clock? That's a late lunch. Okay, so now we've got to figure it out. Now, one way you can do that is counting by hours first. Start with your biggest units of time first. 6:45. This would be 7:45, 8:45, 9:45, 10:45, 11:45. This poor girl. 12:45. Each of these is 1 hour. How long has she waited already? Now we know that this is 6:45, 7:45. Another hour is 8:45. Another hour is 9:45. 10:45. Another hour is 11:45. Now we're at 12:45. We're trying to get to 1 o'clock. How many more minutes is it from 12:45 to our 1 o'clock? 15 minutes. This poor girl had to wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours and 15 minutes between breakfast and lunch. 6 hours and 15 minutes. All right, we're going to try one more, and then you're going to be trying some on your own. Marcus and James had soccer practice after school. Okay, practice ended at the time shown on the clock below. They had been practicing for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Ooh, what time did they begin? Now I have to find the start time. What time did they begin? Well, I know what time they ended. You see, it says practice ended at the time shown on the clock below. So practice ended at, that's right, that's 5 o'clock. So my practice ended at 5 o'clock. So I know my end time. I don't know my beginning time. I'm going to put a question mark there. I don't know what that is. I do know that their practice had been 1 hour and 20 minutes. It had been 1 hour and 20 minutes. It ended at 5 o'clock. I need to go this way to see what time it began. If I take 1 hour, because they'd been practicing for 1 hour, let me take 1 hour off of that. It's now 4 o'clock, so the practice was at least 4 o'clock for a start time. Okay, so it lasted 1 hour and 20 minutes. So there's my hour. Now here's my 20 minutes. So what's going to be my start time? Let me move this over a little bit. What's going to be my start time? I need to take 20 minutes off of 4:20. Or 4 o'clock, sorry. So you need to back up time from 4 o'clock, go back toward 3 o'clock, 20 minutes toward 3 o'clock. And what time would it be? This is where they get a little bit more challenging. It's not just easy add up, add up, add up. Now, can you think? I'm at 4 o'clock. 20 minutes before 4 o'clock is 3:40. So that's how we figure out elapsed time. Okay, using a timeline is your best strategy. I know I teach some kids sometimes think they can just do subtraction or addition. It gets really complicated when you start adding minutes up that are more than 1 hour. Then students get really confused. So a timeline is your best strategy in 4th grade for figuring out elapsed time. So on the next 3 slides on this lesson, you're going to do 3 more problems like this. You're going to draw a timeline, just like I did. So you'll have a space to draw your timeline to show your work. And then you're going to find your answer for each elapsed time. And you're going to make sure that you label it, how many hours, how many minutes. And would you circle your answer for me? I guess I didn't do that. Let me show you what I should do. Okay, my answer is, the question for this one was, what time did they begin practice? Here's my answer. 3:40. Now, I'm assuming this is p.m. because you don't start practice at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, or 3:40 in the morning. Okay, so I think that's 3:40 p.m. was the start time. Okay, so the question asked, what time did they begin? I'm saying 3:40 p.m. Once you have your answer, just circle it for me so that I can find it. Okay, so 3 problems for you to practice with elapsed time. All right, boys and girls, you can get to work.